Happy Wednesday. So happy to be here with all of you. So I was hoping we could all just take a nice deep breath and breathing all the way in and a long, long exhale through the mouth as long as you can do it. If you don't know me, my name is Kelly Kolodny, and I'm called the Angel Lady. I channel the angel Raphael, and I'm here to share with you some information that's been coming in and connect with all of you today. And I wanted to start with an overview because we are coming now to the end of the year, and it has been quite a year, 2025, for a lot of us. It is the year of closings, of endings, of completion. And so 2025 there's been a lot. And today we have solar flares coming in like nothing else. I don't know if anybody else was feeling that frequency. Also noticing that my internet was a little spotty, having a difficult time. So the sun is delivering beautiful codes for us, and we can see it as something negative, or we can see it as something magnificent and beautiful as the solar winds are carrying plasmic codes of light. And so, speaking of codes and light codes, I want to share with you what we've done so far out of the 55, as I downloaded 55 light codes that will take me a total of another 4 years to complete. That's going to bring us in that 2029, 2030 mark by the time I'm finished. And what came in this year and why and where it's leading into 2026, and support you in what we need to do in preparation as this big wave of love is coming in toward the month of December and we move into the winter solstice, how we can energetically prepare ourselves, especially as we're receiving flares and things are happening on the earth and the energy is building and getting more and more intense. But if we can understand it, sometimes it helps us. And if we can tune into our body and our nervous system and recognize where in our energetic body things may be feeling a little out of balance, and what remedies we can use or we can commit to together in this now moment in the community to do so that we can help one another and help ourselves. Because one of the big changes that's happening is we're really moving away from being an individual, not that we're still not individuals, but feeling like we're always on our own and we have to do everything on our own. Today, when we were in trance or I was channeling in my group, there was this real deep understanding of this collective birthing. We're talking about this birthing process that's happening as we move into December, and although we'll individually move into a state of remembering and awakening, we're doing it collectively. We're weaving something together. And so we have to come into coherence together. And I think that that's one of the reasons Raphael is inviting all of us to do these practices so that we can do them together in a community collectively where we all come together in one space in order to have the energy, the momentum, the vibration that we need to carry forward these frequencies. So when we look back into March of last year, we were at the spring equinox. And at the spring equinox, we were here at the choice point. This is the choice point light code. And this is the code that I taught where we really made a conscious decision between moving from an organic timeline to an artificial timeline. It was the end of a cycle, the beginning of a new, the opening of a doorway. And through that conscious decision and doing that work collectively, we're moving in a specific direction. And as we moved into that direction, we started to connect with what's called the Galactic White Horse. And what we did there was we went all the way up into the galactic core, past the ring, past knot, to the star beings, and we started to feel into their frequencies and invite them to come. And what's interesting is as we invited them, the summer came. And what happened in the summertime? Three Eye Atlas came into our awareness. And Raphael had said that in March that something was going to be coming to us, a galactic baby, they called it, this galactic energy, this birthing at the winter solstice. 9 months in a gestation period between the spring equinox and the winter solstice. And so the fact that Three Eye Atlas kind of showed up in our experience in the summertime, just as we have been working here in the galactic energy, inviting those galactic energies in, it's more than coincidental. It's pretty magical. And then we went from there into the violet flame. And we went from, instead of the galactic core, we went below. We went into the core, into the earth. And we worked with the ascended masters and these beautiful flames that they have been carrying from the times of Lemuria and all the codes that they carried on these beautiful rays. And what happened was, once we worked with them, at the end of those transmissions, what they shared was that there was a changing of the guard of sorts, that the energy was moving into a much more feminine frequency. That we were, the flames themselves were almost becoming like eggs as we were preparing to birth something, which was extraordinary. And then we went into the sacred holy womb, and that's what many of you here today and those who have been working with me, we went in and we worked with this in the last couple weeks. And that's where we purified that womb space, whether you're a male or a female, it's your womb chakra, it's your space of creation. And one often deeply neglected and not thought of, and one where we carry memories and we carry wounds and pain and shame and guilt and trauma. There's a lot that goes on there. So we went through the process of rebirthing ourselves, feeling what it was like to be in the womb, reconnecting with our essence, with our soul, connecting to the great grandmothers, going into sacred chambers and places to support us in clearing and healing that. And now we're going to go into the Divine Feminine Code, and that's going to start deliberately on December 4th because it's a full moon. But what's interesting about that is it's going to carry us into December 8th, which is a very special day that we think of kind of traditionally in I guess it's in the Catholic religion as the Immaculate Conception. But we're going to be working with it as what's called a light conception, a conception of conceiving our avatar self, now that that womb chakra is purified and prepared and ready. And what's interesting is, from the end of it on the 1111 gateway to December 8th is 28 days, which is like a cycle in the womb, right? And it's going to bring us here to that. And then if you go from 1111 all the way to the winter solstice, that's 40 days. And so Raphael is asking all of us if we would be willing to choose something out of these 11 processes to each do one thing. I'm going to do all 11 every day to the best of my ability. Haven't done them all yet today. But to make a commitment to do that, because it will help us open up and feel spirit, unify with our divine child, with our divine self, so that we can start to bring that energy in. Because the energy is arriving, and as Three Eye Atlas is coming in, and we're receiving this fertilization as this delivery system, right, that's being carried by the sun, and it's coming into us. If we aren't able to receive it, it kind of just bounces off, right? We don't really get to take in these beautiful gifts. So Raphael downloaded, and we shared 11 processes, and they're really easy and simple. And at the end of this, what I would like to do is just a short like meditation where we kind of connect and you get an awareness of the processes and where they are. And if there's one that resonates with you, that you would say, you know what, I'm going to do that for the next however many days for you, either till we hit the December 8th mark or the winter solstice mark, depending on what works for you. So what's happening is we've opened up that space, we've prepared the womb space, and now we're going to go into December 8th for the light conception during the Divine Feminine Light Code. Then we're going to come up against the 1212. The 1212 is another big portal day. It's also Christ consciousness. It's the 144. And that energy is going to merge with what we call the Mother Source creation grid, because we have been very focused as a collective on the masculine, and that has brought many wonderful things. But the divine feminine has been a bit hidden, right? It's been kind of pushed aside, and it's coming to the surface. It's rising up, and it's inviting itself back onto the scene. coming into the party. And as it does so, it's going to merge on 1212, and we're going to go through this divine union frequency with an activation with Raphael and Mary Magdalene and Yeshua to merge those energies and to come into union consciousness. Once we do that, then for the next 3 days after that, we're going to be receiving gifts. Gifts of the third eye as we open that and expand our pineal gland to receive the gifts that come from that, like visions and telepathic communication, etc. We're going to really open up the eye of the heart, to open up our heart to receive more love, more flow, more abundance, more connection, looking through the lens of love and being able to work in new ways within the heart for healing and we're understanding how do we heal and how do we heal in a way that is lasting, that feels in alignment with who we are in ways in which the great avatars were able to heal. And then we're going to open up the eye in the womb, which is the eye of creation. How do we move really into manifesting in a way that is in alignment with creation and flow and abundance moving through us, that we can create and move into alchemy and go into the opening of the eye of the womb center. Then, just when we come to the end of that, then Three Eye Atlas, after we've opened the three eyes, is going to just be coming right by the Earth. As close as it does, it will be December 19th. And then 3 days later is the winter solstice. So it's a big energetic lineup of things that we are collectively going to embrace, embody, and be willing to do. And when that it comes to a completion, which of course it will, and we celebrate whatever we do in the holidays and love our families and one another, when we move into 2026, the next light code, which they're showing me, is death. And people are like, ah, death, I'm afraid. I don't want it to be death. What does that mean? Well, it just means the end, right? Because 2025 is the end, it's the 9, but 2026 is the 1, it's the beginning. So it is a rebirth. It is stepping over a threshold as we go through the winter solstice into something new. And what does it say down here? It says, reset your timeline. And this is where we get to reset the timeline for the year. And then I was asking Raphael, okay, what are the codes for 2026? What is the energy that's coming in? And I got all these sweet codes, which she told me, because I only do 6 a year, right? And look at them, all the colors are kind of the same. They're like in these pinks. They're soft because it's asking us to drop into this softness, to reset our timeline and kind of release some of our armor. Perhaps we need to go through a grieving process of the world we once knew and soften into something else. So, one of the things that came up was the lens of love, being able to perceive and see as we've opened our third eye to the world in a new way, as the illusion of separation begins to disappear and we get to see each other through the lens of love, that we are worthy and lovable just as we are, and we see the oneness of everything. We have this one, partnership. It's going to be a year of partnering, coming into community, into collective collaboration, not feeling like you're alone, like you have to do everything by yourself. In fact, in December, when I'm teaching the Divine Feminine Light Code, guess who I'm teaching it with? Emilio Ortiz. I don't know if you guys know him. He has a YouTube channel. He's a sweet young man. He holds the divine masculine energy. He's going to hold the Christ consciousness codes and those frequencies that I brought over into his platform. And we're going to merge them. We're going to collaborate. So everyone in my community will get his stuff and everybody in his community will get our stuff. People don't usually do that. They always do their own thing. They're like, oh, then you'll do this. We're like, no, we're just going to collaborate. We're partnering, right? And so that's one, you could partnership in those way, partnerships in relationships, partnerships in everything, in communities, collective connections, weaving things together, working together, bringing in our gifts. So that's going to be a huge piece. Then we're going to go into the summer solstice and we're going to move into celebration and joy and playfulness where we get to choose. Because as we move into the summer, it's going to be a big time of choice. Are you going to choose love or are you going to choose fear? The timelines are going to get crazy and energy is going to be intense. And so invoking and inviting celebration is going to be super important. And then we're going to work with magic and alchemy and ladybug magic and fun and the passion of the heart. So it's a sweetness coming in. And does that mean everything is going to be like love and roses all the time in 2026? No, it's going to be a lot going on, but we can get to see it through the lens that we choose to see it through. And as we embody these codes that carry this lighter frequency, this sweetness, this softening, this love vibration, then we can move gracefully through these changes in these next few years that we all can feel and know are coming and are intense and that we're in right now, in a way of partnership, connection, and community. So I want to read to you guys quickly a little prayer because as I've been working in the divine, in the Sacred Holy Womb Code, uh, it was brought to my attention that one of those old traditional prayers that called the Lord's Prayer, like Our Father who art in heaven, how thy be thy name, that when you look at it from another perspective, that it is an opening of the chakra systems, that it starts at the crown and it moves down the body. Like how thy be thy name is in the throat, thy kingdom come is in the heart, thy will be done is in the solar plexus. But it's still holding this very masculine energy and it has its purpose. But we wrote one for the divine feminine energy. And I want to read it to you because I think it's really sweet. So it's our mother who art the earth. Hallowed be thy silence. Thy kingdom come, thy love be done, as heaven upon the earth. Give us this day our daily breath, and forgive us our forgetting, as we forgot those who came to love us. And let us not be led against our life force, and deliver us into union. For thine is the mother, the goddess, and the daughter, forever into unity. Isn't that sweet? All right. I know that we have some hands up here. And what I'm thinking is I have been channeling straight nonstop for days between my code and interviews, and I'm feeling a little tired. So what I'm going to do is I want to do a meditation where we can tune into those 11 gateways, and then I'll open it up to some questions as Kelly. And if you have questions for me or I can support you, I will do that or pull some cards. But I'm not going to be channeling Raphael in the way I normally do. But I am going to bring her in just enough for us to connect in to our systems because the 11 processes that we've been asked to do, I'm going to read them to you. And I want you to tune in and see if there's one you could commit to, one that feels good to you that you would like to do. And then we'll just drop in. Okay, so these go through the body, starting at the crown, and we're going to go all the way down to the feet. So everybody just take in a nice deep breath. And as we breathe in and let go, I want you to just tune into your crown. Hello. Tuning into your crown center and bringing awareness to your crown and becoming aware if you are very, very busy all of the time moving about, busy, 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 busy doing. And if you are very busy in the doing, becoming aware, if you could choose to take 5 minutes every day where you absolutely do nothing, dropping into the nothingness, the emptiness, the void, that could be, doesn't mean meditating, it means nothing at all, just gazing and staring out at whatever and whenever. And perhaps you can expand the nothingness into 15 or 20 or even 30 minutes. Drop down into your forehead and notice if your thoughts have been busy too, moving about, thinking all of the time, unable to settle. dropping into your thoughts around your forehead and becoming aware if you are wanting to just drop more and more into meditation, choosing meditation and expanding that time in your day to 5, 10, 20 minutes. I'm doing over an hour now each day, meditating, opening up to that, dropping into your third eye, becoming aware of your third eye, and just noticing in this now moment. Are you choosing to see through the lens of what's not working, through the lens of fear, of stress? Or can you begin to move into a process of gazing into your own eyes each day in the mirror and saying, I love you? Noticing as you say, I love you in the mirror, if that feels uncomfortable, and just being present with yourself. I love you in the mirror, or gazing into the eyes of a partner or a beloved. And bring your awareness to your throat. And as you're coming into your throat, notice if you've been repressing a lot of things, not being able to speak your truth, pushing things down. If you've been pushing things down, you might want to bring mantra in. Perhaps you will chant and find a mantra that you align with and do that for 10 or 15 minutes. Or perhaps you haven't been so much repressing, but talking all the time. Or you live with someone who's always talking. There's a lot of talking happening, constant chatter. You might choose to go into silence for 1 day, or 2 days, or 3 days, your own personal silent retreat. Dropping into and feeling into your lungs. Do you feel smothered by people? Do you feel overwhelmed, like you have no space, like you can't breathe? If you're feeling this in your lung area, you may want to adopt the practice of breath work every day. Just breathing in and then a nice long exhale for 10 minutes, or a big sigh, or letting go and bringing awareness to your breath. It's dropping in now to your heart. Does your heart feel closed? Have you had a recent heartache, or a breakup, or a tear, or someone recently died? Are you feeling grief or unworthiness in your body? If that's something you're feeling, you may want to practice every day with your hand on your heart and just say, I love you. And say your name afterwards, like, I love you, Callie. You'd be surprised how powerful that simple practice is. Saying that 10 to 12 times a day, just, I love you. Now I'd like you to drop down into your solar plexus. Notice if you've been overeating, or if you've been feeling addicted to something, consuming, purchasing lots of things, just overindulging. If you're moving into that vibration and you notice that's been happening for you, you may want to do some fasting. Skip dinner every night between now for those 28 or 48 days, or eat in a smaller window, or do a juice or a water fast, or decide not to purchase anything for a month, or let go of an addictive substance. And then begin to drop into the womb center. This is your place of creation. Has abundance been stuck? Has it been not flowing? Have you felt a sense of neglect? Come dropping into the darkness so that you can move into the empty void. So you could wear a blindfold for an hour a day during the daytime and just be really in the dark. Move into the emptiness, create spaciousness for abundance to begin to flow, for the creational energy within your womb center to open, to be purified, to be prepared to birth something new. Then you can drop down into the sacral area. And perhaps this area might feel shut down. You might feel in resistance. Your life force energy might be turned off. Your sex drive not working. Feeling disconnected from the creational energy. And if this is something that's happening, I'm inviting you to buy a rose every day and give it to someone, or to keep live roses alive in your house for the next 28 to 40 days, to feel the flourishing beauty of the rose blooming, opening, the opening of your life force energy, reawakening. And then you can just drop into the root center. Have you been dehydrated? Have you been contracted, depriving yourself of things? And get to feel into that. I'm sorry, that's the blood. We're moving into the blood, feeling dehydrated in deprivation. And if that's the case, expanding your water intake, drinking more water, washing your feet, blessing your third eye, your heart, and your womb with the water, and bringing more water into your experience. And then the root, noticing if you have felt ungrounded, chaotic, distracted, losing things, up in the heavens, not down in the earth. Then do some barefoot walking. Get out, outside, walk barefoot, ground into the earth, feel the earth beneath your feet. So notice as we went through those 11 gateways that came through on the 1111, if one of them is calling to you, or you're noticing that's happening in your life, or if they're all calling to you, or just a couple, and make a commitment. You can say it in the chat, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can write a comment. I commit to doing the rose, or I commit to the breath, or I commit to the water, or I commit to grounding, or meditating, or darkness, or silence, or chanting, or breathing, or fasting, and let me know. Because when we make a commitment to something, when we decide that we're willing to do something, we say to the universe that we're worthy, and we connect then with spirit. And so this is a time of this emptying during this womb creation space between now and we're moving into the divine feminine light code. Do these practices because it will help you prepare to receive the connection with your divine child, with your avatar self, with this galactic frequency that's coming in. It'll support you. If you're really breathing, right, you'll be able to breathe in these galactic codes that are coming in this light from the sun. If you're meditating, you'll be able to receive it. If you're out in the earth, you'll be able to receive it. If you're drinking more water, if you're fasting, all of these things help us. And we know this. This is not rocket science. It's nothing we've heard. But when we're in community and we're like, we're actually going to do it, and we commit and we tell each other we're going to do it, it makes a big difference. So, with that, I am going to stay on and answer some questions. I have the cards here and see if something comes up. I want to remind you that if you feel called to be with us in the winter solstice in 1212 and the light conception, the divine feminine code, and with Emilio, that you can be with us and register for that. And if not, do these practices no matter what, obviously, and on your own. And just prepare yourself to receive these energies coming in because they're extraordinary. This is an extraordinary moment. It really is. And then next year, we're going to step over that threshold. We're going to reset the timeline, and then we're going to have all this sweetness. So we're going to play in the sweetness of these energies and enjoy them once we move through this. All right. Okay. So look at all these people making commitments. Oh, I love it. I'm going to save the chat and hold you guys to it. Okay. All right. So let's see. We have 30 minutes, and so people who have their hands up, if you still want to ask a question, um, let's go ahead and do that. So uh, is it Esther? Is that who we have here? I think so. My glasses on. Yeah? Do you have a question? No. Denise, do you have a question? Oh, wait, hold on. I have to let you guys unmute yourself. 1 minute. Hmm. There we go. Okay.
There we go.
Here we
Hi,
go.
Kelly. Oh, what an honor to be able to ask my first question of you. Thank you for your healing presence and generous nature to share your gifts with all of us. I'm just so grateful.
Hmm.
Um, I understand that the throat chakra and the importance of speaking my truth, um, but my heart is concerned for the safety and well being of loved ones who might be at risk during the Earth's rifts. And who aren't spiritually open to receive such insight. So, how can I share the awareness with love and clarity and honoring truth while keeping them safe? Or do I not share and simply trust that whatever's in their highest good will happen and that their soul's plan will unfold in divine order?
Yeah, their soul's plan will unfold in divine order. And it's not up to you to tell them anything unless they ask.
Okay.
If they ask, you can tell if they're not asking. But let's pull one card on that.
Okay.
All right, hold on. I think I lost your picture. Where'd you
Uh
go?
oh. Let
Hmm,
me see.
I-
Maybe I'll raise my hand again. I don't know.
yeah, that would be good.
I'll show up at the bottom of the hand raising.
All right, hold on. Can't see you. I'm just gonna see what we got. Oh gosh. Okay. We have self-love.
Ah, oh my God, that's me.
Love yourself. Know you are worthy. Know your worth. It's also the Divine Mother. It's looking in the mirror. It's the one that people perhaps needed where they said, I love you. And just focus on loving yourself, coming into fullness with who you are, radiating that energy, and they'll feel that. And then they might ask you, what are you doing? um, and, you know, hold them that they are safe, not that they're in any danger, because they are.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, I want to make sure I do this fairly. I can't see everything as it looks like, who do we have? Is it Dati?
Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for picking my question. And
Sure.
thank you for all the beautiful work you do. This is such an honor. Thank you so much. I've actually really wanted to ask you this question for a while. Um, so many people describe some of our experiences as past lives. I have a strong belief that everything exists at the same time. So can we really describe something as a past life when it's already existing at the same time? I really wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on this.
Well,
Thank
yeah, I mean, our mind has to we're operating in time here on Earth, right? And time is slowly beginning to collapse, and we're recognizing that it
you.
is an illusion. But we're still have collectively agreed to operate in the time sequence that we're in. And because of that, in order for our mind to grasp experiences, we label them as something that had been or something that will be, because it's not necessarily something that we're experiencing absolutely in this present moment. Now, is it happening in this present moment in another dimension as time collapses? Is it all happening simultaneously? Yeah, but for the reference point of our understanding and our way of our ability to communicate with one another, let's say you had a past life and you lived in, I don't know, in Africa, and something happened, like if that's not actually happening to you right now, it may be happening to you at the soul level because it's all happening simultaneously, but you're not personally having that experience in this second. And so that is how we reference it. Um, and so I think that that solves, and that's kind of the only way that we can operate. Is there something about that that you're curious about?
I was just also thinking if everything exists at the same time. So does that mean that we already have gone through this extraordinary evolution as humans? just yeah, from there I have quite a lot of questions of everything existing at the same time. We've already done it if it exists, so it
Yeah,
is
we
it's
have done it
interesting.
on some level, right? But we haven't, like, we're not in the necessarily experiencing in the frequency. It's interesting because this is a card that came up for you, and the card is the Ascension timeline.
Very good. Wow, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, and it says to trust in the process. So maybe it's not so much about figuring it out if it happened or it is happening, but to trust in the process and be in the presence of the now. This is a very powerful light code. I can't remember when I did it. It was a few years ago. Um, I feel like Pam Gregory holds us to the ascension timeline. She's such a beacon of light in our community, and she really holds this code in that she keeps holding us to that higher timeline and asking us to keep that vision of what we want to seek in the world. Anyway, so you might want to go and look at this timeline, the Ascension Code, and tap into that. Might be just what you need.
Thank you so much. Lots of love. Thank you.
That's so fun. Okay, is it Fenmei? Do I have it right, sweetheart? I can't.
Yes, yes, you pronounce it perfectly.
My God, it's amazing.
I'm so happy to ask a question today with you. Look, you are facing many people, but to me, you are just into my life like so much now. So
Oh,
Secret Holy Womb, that code is my third one.
your
I'm
third
pretty
code.
new. Yeah, but I feel it's so powerful. So now I have a strong desire, except to like behold the light and be an example. I really want to spread this to many, like my family, friends, and more people. So I really want to do it like in Chinese. But my question is like, can I do it? Because that's your your stuff. And also, like we often see, you can watch the replay. The frequency is there,
Mm.
but like, how does that work?
This is so funny. This is the card you got, light language.
Let's like,
So
yeah,
there is no language. There is no Chinese and English. I can't believe this is the card that came up. I have the all here, it just popped up. Light language is the universal language. And it's true, right? That the frequency is there. And Raphael always says it's not about the words. And I know our mind wants to think about the words, and the words help us, but it's about the vibration. And so have them listen to the vibration. And I wish there was a way that I could channel in Chinese and in every other language and bring forth Raphael's messages that way. And maybe at some point we'll be able to translate a lot of things. And
that's what I want to do. Like I want to translate part of yeah, the most like very important ones to
okay,
Chinese.
well, maybe email me and I'll bring it up to customer service. We'll talk about that because
Okay,
I don't know how to do that right now. But in the meantime, light language.
that's language. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Patricia.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I had a question. I was thinking, and you were in my dreams last night, and I was actually asking you this question. And I feel really sad for like homeless people, the people who they're not on board with the spiritual stuff because and I've been there myself. They're busy with surviving, and I don't want them to be left behind, with Three Eye Atlas and the Ascension and all these things, but they're so I wouldn't say that they're at a low frequency. A lot of people seem to think that they are. It's just they don't know that all these things are happening because they have survival. So what's going to happen with the people that are in a survival mode? Are they going to be left behind, or are they going to get intervention? What's going to happen?
Well, I don't believe anyone's ever left behind.
Good.
And the card that came up is unity.
Okay.
And unity, it says, it's about focus on the vision. So as we remember, right, that the homeless person is you and you're the homeless person, even though you're not embodying that journey at
Mhm.
that particular moment, as you raise your frequency, because you happen to have the luxury right now to maybe embark on a spiritual journey where someone else in a survival mode on their journey right now doesn't
Mhm.
have the time or energy for that, that as you raise your consciousness and hold that light for them, that because we are all woven together as one family, that
Mhm.
supports them. And then on a practical way, we can do whatever we can to go and serve meals and drop off coats and send money and help. But from the more of the spiritual lens, which we have to do both, we have to also do the practical things. Um,
Mhm.
as we raise our vibration collectively, and more of us do this, and we come into a remembering of our oneness and the divine within each other, then we see the divine in the homeless, we see the divine in the one struggling, and we remember that when another is hungry, we're hungry, right? And the
Mhm.
consciousness, the ripple of that energy changes, and we come into union. The whole purpose of what we're doing is to come into union as a collective in our remembering. And so the idea that others are left behind, no one's ever left behind. We're just on different timelines on our journey. So I wouldn't want to phrase it in that way. I know a lot of times in the spiritual community, and I understand this, that there's a split, right? Between, and it's
Mhm.
a change in timeline, so we're going in different pathways, but that's always been happening. Everyone, there's these sparks of light of all of our energies and souls on the planet. We've always been having, to some degree, different experiences. The experience you're having now is different than the one that I'm having. We're having two different journeys. But as more and more of us are coming together, collaborating in community, in love with each other, and in remembering, we're lifting the collective vibration. And the hopes is that as we lift it, um, then we lift all of us all at once.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking that.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm trying to see here what we have. Christine.
Hello, Kelly. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Feeling spectacular. Oh, thank you for calling on me. Um, I wonder if you could just tell me any messages that you might be getting for me.
Oh gosh, we're trying to keep things in for the collective, not personal.
Can
So
we ask for any healing for the collective?
healing for the collective. We can pull a card. What do we get? We got self-love. Self-love again keeps showing up. You know, unworthiness is such a big one in the collective.
Yeah,
So big. And if we can remember, and as we were talking about birthing this galactic frequency, this divine vibration, stepping into our avatar self, it requires and is asking of us to feel worthy of that, to love ourselves. So I
absolutely.
think perhaps that's a message for you personally, but for the collective. So thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Jen T.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, so it's nice to meet you, Kelly. Um, but my question is about, you talked about partnership, you talked about union.
Hmm.
What was the origin and purpose of twin flames?
That's a great question. So energetically, my understanding, and we did a whole code on the twin flame. I think it was one of my favorites. And it ended up being kind of almost a bit complicated. And I remember having to go to England to do it. But anyway, so it's the part of ourself as we have our soul, our seed point, right? And then during that split, there's the polar opposite of who we are, is incarnated, and we have a plan together. And as we incarnate, or if we think of it almost in, if we think of it metaphorically, let's say in the story, right, of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, because I'm on that journey right now, they're together in union. They decide, they feel that call to come to earth, right? That pulse. And in that pulse and in that call, they have a plan. And that the plan is that they don't have to walk the path alone. And they carry very opposite frequencies. We got the Christ consciousness frequency, the divine feminine. One is of darkness, to learn the lessons of judgment, to be hidden behind the scenes, right? And the other is this healing avatar of light frequency, right there. And one is seen up on the pedestal, and the other is the prostitute and the sinner. And but they need one another. They have to come together in union in order for the Christ consciousness to be able to perform, to share its avatar qualities. But at the same time, the other aspect of it has to come up and rise in order for them to come into union to birth something new. So they're having this dance, and they decide before they come that we're going to come and we're going to have this plan. But oh gosh, as we come, there's going to be this forgetting, and I'm going to forget you're my twin flame, that you're the other half of me, and you're going to forget that I am, and we're going to have this journey together, and maybe we're going to
We have two
intersect
different
in the
kinds. On one
journey.
fund
I'm
it
sorry, can you
stands,
mute yourself, please?
and that would be
Sorry.
once it's conceived.
Sorry about that. And then they forget that they're on that journey. And so in a lifetime, you may come into contact with your twin flame, and it might be a spark that's fleeting, where there's an intersection of something. And sometimes that's why it feels so intense, and it's part of the plan. And sometimes you can stay in that relationship for a long time where it falls away. And there can be lifetimes where you don't even intersect, because you're intersecting on other levels, or the twin flame is in another dimension, or it's past. So there's a lot to it, and it's not something I can explain in a few seconds, but um it's like the part of ourself that we are searching for when we come back into union with, but ultimately it's ourself. So it's projected outside of ourself in the idea that it's a lover or a partner, right, of some sort. But when we really come down to it, the union that we're seeking isn't someone else in flesh that's bringing us into wholeness, is the wholeness inside that we're coming into union within. And so as we work with the divine feminine light code, we'll be very much working on that, like bringing that divine feminine and masculine energy, which could be perceived as the twin flame energy, into union within ourselves. I hope that's somewhat helpful.
So helpful. Thank you. I love that answer. It's beautiful.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Sorry,
Kelly.
it's getting dark here. I hope you guys, the light's okay. All right, let's see. Gosh, who do we have? Jorica, is that it? Am I saying it right?
You are saying it right. That's amazing.
Me, 2 in a row.
It's great. Well, my question, I'm doing the womb code now, and you had mentioned something about the foods, like what foods to avoid, and you had mentioned sugar, and I was wondering what other ones I have noticed for myself. When I eat too much sugar, I definitely, can't take in as much stuff. But I was wondering if there's sort of like some universal foods that for general humanity that are holding us back, and so
Yeah, so the reason I mention that is that when we're eating really clean, we're just clearer and we can feel spirit, right? It's much easier to make that communion. So if you go to the grocery store, you just want to walk around the outer edge. You never want to go in the middle. So anything that you can't recognize, that's in a box, that's been processed, is that much further away from God's source, from the sun. And so the rule would be, if it grew in your garden or it was raised somewhere, in a natural way, those are the foods that we want to consume the most. And of course, if we can even on top of that eat local foods that are organic, even better. But that's not always possible, right? And we all want to have our whatever we want once in a while. So there's no absolute. But during this time where we're kind of committing to things, it would be a perfect time to commit to, like even instead of saying I'm not going to eat sugar, be like, oh, I'm going to only eat foods that the sun has hit. And so that would be vegetables, that would be fruits, that would be things that when I get to the grocery store are on that outer rim. The things, seeds and lentils and rice but when we get in that those middle aisles that are filled with processed foods, that's what we want to eliminate. So it's basic common sense, nothing you guys don't know. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
so welcome. Okay. Is it Dina? Dina?
Hi, Kelly. It's Dina.
Dina?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
And hello.
Hello. It's what a delight to be here. Finally, I get a chance to join you at 3 o'clock on Eastern time. Since I was about 29, myself, like many people, especially women in the world, I think, I've had such a profound resonance with the myth of Persephone and Demeter. And over time, especially recently, I've had some interesting kind of energetic encounters that I've felt very good and powerful and positive. But it's interesting that the Greek gods and goddesses don't seem to come into play as a kind of awakened energy, right? At least in the spiritual world as we experience it for the most part. So I'm really curious about, are they some aspect of higher consciousness? Are they more reflecting our human experience? And if they are some aspect of higher consciousness, are they kind of disguised versions of more ancient goddesses and gods? And I'm just particularly interested in Persephone herself.
I don't know the answer to that. I did pull the card and we got the emerald tablet and it's getting dark here and it says, hold on guys, let me see what it is. I should know this. Give me a second.
Okay.
It says to acquire knowledge and wisdom, to educate oneself.
Hmm.
It does educate yourself, which is kind of interesting because when you mentioned that the Greek gods and goddesses sort of have more of this human mind vibration rather than like when you think of Kali, right? That big energy or Isis or some of the other goddesses or Lakshmi, they have more of an almost an emotional quality than when we think of some of the Greek gods and goddesses. Feels a little bit more mental. And I think I would agree with you that as we go behind them and we follow their lineage to the origin, that there's something that has a deeper, richer quality to it. And so it's interesting that the Emerald Tablet came up. And I'm wondering if there's any correlation or relationship between the mythology there in relationship to the ancient Egyptians. Um,
Yeah, there's a connection with Isis. I know that.
yeah, so maybe,
And
and, yeah, go ahead. What?
kind of the connection with Isis. Um, I'm pretty sure there's some, sort of historical evolution of how in the Mediterranean, uh, her presence or whatever was manifesting. And I feel like there's something about Hades that he is a sort of a Greek representation of some god in Egypt, but I don't recall for sure.
Well, it's not my specialty.
Mm.
It's not something I have studied in any depth, so I don't feel that maybe if I were channeling, Raphael would have a better answer, but me as Kelly, I can't honestly answer that for you. But I can say that maybe following the line back to Isis, to the Egyptian energy, and
Mhm.
educating yourself, if that's what the card said to the answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking
Yeah.
into the emerald tablet and see if there's any relationship. That would be interesting to see.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to joining you in the Divine Feminine Code coming
Oh,
up.
wonderful. We're excited. So excited. So it looks like it's getting dark where I am. I think I'll take one more question and we're going to call it a day. Um, is it Irene Jesus? Do I have that? Hi.
Hello, Kelly. Thank you
Hello.
for picking the last question for me. Well, it's just whatever card comes for my highest, and thank you.
Okay. Well, you got abundance.
Okay. All right. So it's gotta be abundance in all areas in my life. That's what
Yeah. Open up to the flow, to receive, allowing yourself to receive.
okay.
Is there anywhere perhaps in your life that you could
Yeah,
open?
it makes sense to connect, I would say to add to the card, trust myself, trust in my abilities, um, believe in me that I can also go deep within me as a guide, as a healer, and thank you for that. I'm looking forward to getting There's a special deal, the Starseed 1 and Starseed 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
my favorite. You're going to love that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. So right now I'm struggling with especially with my abundance, but yeah,
Oh, okay. So you know what I want to do? I want to give you the abundance light code for free. So you email customer support at my email, tell them I said that, and they're going
okay.
to send you the light code on abundance for free. It's a 3-week program. I want you to listen to it, and then I want you to
Thank
report
you.
back of all the abundance coming in, okay?
Thank you so much. So I go to our website and
Um,
select the contact email, right? I have
yeah,
it.
yeah. Or you can even email me. It's Kelly at theangelraphael.com, and we're going to get the abundance moving for you. Okay.
Thank you so much. This is a really, really beautiful um ending of 2025 gift, and really, really appreciate it with all my heart.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
You're welcome. Okay, so much love, everybody. Next time I'll have the lights on. I think I'm even getting like rainy. It's getting so dark here. So I love you. You all have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy, commit to something out of those 11 processes, and I will see everybody soon.